Hello, everybody. My name is RJ. Welcome to a Toonkind at 12 FPS. Um, I said my name already, which completely threw off my script. Fuck. Hey, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, I'm Whis. I am here at day 4 of Korvits week.
Oh my god. How many of these have you done?
Day 4. I have had 4 FPSs in a row.
Christ, Wiz. Bro.
Thus far for every day of January.
Bro. Oh my god.
I'm having a great holiday.
Jesus Christ. Care the you, please.
I am caring for me.
Anyway. Yeah, so Korvits week. What the fuck is he doing? Is he checking his is he making his list? Is he checking it twice?
Sort of. I mean, there is alright, hold on. Let me start that sentence again. Since coming back with Paz, he's definitely been sticking around town. He hasn't been going elsewhere, which is not super unusual. He sort of just did that anyway before. Mostly hanging out almost exclusively with Paz. But he has made a few trips out to the pumpkin patch, and he took a detour to annoy Craigory not that long ago. So he's sort of trying to force himself into this is normal shit. And so while he is spending an awful lot more time with Paz, he's also still popping out to his clubhouse and babysitting the guppies and things like that. It's just with a little less enthusiasm than prior. It's also winter, and even though it doesn't get super cold in Halloween Town, he's always a little less vibrant when it's cold.
Hysterical, considering when his patron holiday is.
Look, I don't find autumn to be particularly cold, but that might be just me.
Neither, but I know I'm an outlier, so. Yeah, so what's he doing in particular on this day? I was gonna say auspicious, but it's not really.
It's not. Yeah, it's just a every other, Thursday or whatever. I think he'll probably Paz might be asleep. Perhaps that's why he's not glued to Paz at the moment, and he'll just sort of meander downstairs, and he hasn't gone to the garden for a while, and he's been meaning to talk to Asclepius after that whole thing. So best bet, I guess, is where Asclepius will be, is in the garden. So he'll head there.
I mean, the garden is his domain, so that does track. Does he want to roll something then?
I love rolling things.
I guess. Oh, you know what? I'll let you choose. Nature or survival or investigation. I suppose would be the most pertinent things here.
I'm going to go with survival.
The only not int one.
Yeah, well, it's the best out of the 3 options, which is just as well because
like I said,
roll
the only not int one.
Like, he's not stupid. As he did roll like shit though, so it's just as well. Okay, so that's a dirty 20.
He rolled like shit, but it's only a dirty 20.
It was a 9 on the dice. He just has a plus 11.
I really have no stones to throw here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. So with your survival, you walk in and you're like, what the fuck?
Okay.
Because most of this garden is poisonous or carnivorous or venomous or some unholy combination of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fucking firbolg just kind of in the middle of it, tending to some, definitely not piranha plants, without seemingly a care in the world.
Okay. I think he's going to just sort of look at all of these different plants and then look at Asclepius, and he's going to stop a respectable distance and...
Yeah, got some secret technique for them not taking your fingers off?
Yeah, actually. Chainmail gloves.
I was being sarcastic, but I wasn't actually expecting a legitimate answer. Okay, cool. That's... well, hi.
Hi. Did you need me for something?
Not something so much. I just sort of wanted to check up on you after all of the, bullshit.
He's gonna roll an insight on that. And also roll like shit. I mean, it's still a trait too, but...
No stones at all. Yeah, okay. So no, that sentence is definitely accurate. Like there's definitely more to it than that, but that sentence is definitely accurate.
He, stands up, takes off. He is actually wearing chainmail gloves, surprise, surprise. What's Korvits' passive perception really quick?
His passive is 21.
Okay, yeah. So he notices as Asclepius stands up and takes off the chainmail gloves, the jingle seems to irritate the definitely not piranha plants, so they kind of like back away a little bit. Chainmail to prevent bites, and then the jingling to disorient it.
They do not like the sound of those.
It's like cats and chains of cans. They don't make good mix.
Huh. Alrighty, fair enough. It seems a little, denser in plant matter since the last time I was in here. You've, been working hard, I see.
I like caring for the plants. It reminds me of home.
Well, can't say that these sorts of plants particularly are out of place here. Just, fair enough. Where you're from seems like a pretty rough place then, huh?
No, actually, it's nice. Cold at times, but nice. We caretake the land. Fair number of us are druids, to be perfectly honest. No, it's nice.
Do you miss it?
Of course.
Sounded like it was, a long way off. From, a very small offhand comment you made.
Yeah. This is where I'm desperately trying to remember the names of the continents. Thug, Sheed. Yeah, no, I come from Lytario. Which, you can roll intelligence on that if you want.
Yep, definitely be doing that. And just for the shits and giggles, I'm going to roll him just straight in, rather than a history. Because it's a lower modifier, and it's been a hot minute. since he's thought about anything outside of Banquo. Oh.
My kingdom for knowledge geography.
Alright, well, that roll completely negates my entire, MO with that, so that's a 23.
Goddamn. Okay.
Okay.
So on a map of Zatori, Liateru is almost about as far as you can get from Einquell. Like, opposite side of the globe and hemisphere, kind of, as far away as you can get. Particularly the eastern side.
Okay. Never eat soggy Weet-Bix. That way. Oh, okay. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah. Bottom left as opposed to upper right.
Yeah. Alright. Korvits will probably think about it. And then, like, he does this sort of, pulls a face as he's thinking. It's like,
Hot damn. Okay. That's some ways away. Yeesh.
Cold damn, more like, but yeah.
Yeah, fair, very, very fair. I can't say for certain if I've been there. Non-zero chance I passed through, when picking up Paz, but I didn't exactly stop to check. I just sort of flew in a straight line, so, who knows?
That's fair. Lord knows I do the same thing for Jacques, or, well, he'd do the same thing for me, more accurately.
I'm sure you'd do the same for him.
Well, yeah, but if he's that far out, then we've got bigger problems.
Well, hopefully. History repeating itself isn't exactly on the cards. So, touch wood.
He does gently touch the wood of his staff.
yeah, Korvits is also going to just sort of reach up and hit the little stem at the top of his pumpkin head.
I think this counts. It's close as I've got. Oh, wait, hang on, no.
He's going to tap the palm of his left hand, which is made of wood now.
Nice.
I forgot about that.
Right, that's new, isn't it?
Yeah.
How are you settling into that?
Well, I think I'm overcompensating for it, quite frankly, because the fingertips are really sharp. And I've not had, like, claws or anything before, except for, certain shapeshifts, but it's not the same thing. And, cats have retractable claws, so it's not exactly just a thing. So, pointier than I'm accustomed to, but it feels fine. Seems to be attached directly at the wrist, so, yeah, more or less where the old one came off. I've got the new one coming in.
You do well to speak to, Ava, or possibly Delta. The Lycans in general. They're used to claws.
That's a good idea. I would consider sort of like filing them so they're a little duller, but that also kind of sounds like it could be painful, given as it's not like fingernails or anything. It's literally the ends of my fingers. But,
if you have sensation there, then it will probably hurt.
Yeah, same amount of sensation as on the other hand, yeah.
And he actually
Then
starts
it'll probably hurt.
with both hands. He's like sort of tapping his thumb against each finger, as if comparing the two.
But I've managed to not hurt anything or anyone with them yet, so I at least get points for initial finesse. As long as I'm paying attention, it should be fine. Yeah. But I don't mind it.
There is If you're concerned, there is always the rune of gloves. I know of someone who does that.
Yeah, I did think about that at first when we first came back. So I went, oh, you know what? I've got spare gloves. All of my spare gloves are gone. So it's like every part of my old design is just poof, completely gone. It's like, oh, that's annoying. How very irritating.
I can imagine that'd be upsetting, yeah.
And, where I had spare red shirts, now I've got spare, tan colored shirts like this new one. But I don't mind it. It's fine. It's quite stylish, really. I quite like the jacket. The jacket's neat. A little more cape-like in the wing department. Guy. Huh? well, thanks. A little bit more cape-like in the wing department than it was before, which is kind of funny, because I never liked a cape before, but I suppose a cape that is wings is better than a cape that just sort of smothers them. But, not exactly something that I was expecting, but I suppose that's redesigns for you.
They do tend to creep up when you least expect them. Or so I've heard. Not really something I'm... Gestures at his real kind self. Though, actually, do you want to do a little bit of a medicine roll on that one?
Yeah, I can definitely do a medicine. I was also thinking of doing a history because Jax has mentioned some things.
True, actually.
Let me, medicine. All right, cool. Let's roll it in the right channel, Whis. That might
would
help.
probably help.
All right, that's a dirty 20 on the medicine.
Nice.
Let me do a history as well. Proper history this time. Badunk. Oh, God. Oh, well.
That was a sound. You honked.
Let's do history. It's a plus 15 at least. So, okay. So... Sigh. Alright, so...
Only a 17, goddamn.
Yeah. But not crit fail, so we're good. It probably takes him a minute. But yeah, so it was a dirty 20 on the medicine. And 17 on the history. So he's sort of...
Yeah.
Thinking about one thing at a time.
Yeah, so, yeah, this is a Firbolg. This is very much a Firbolg. This is a Firbolg from a very real kind country. Except those Markians sure are topical, considering where he lives and who he's married to. Almost a little bit too topical. It's a little bit too fitting in.
Yeah. And he'll sort of open his mouth to say something and then close it again. And then frown. And then tilt his head to the side a little bit.
Well, not entirely true, though, is it?
I'm not sure it counts.
You don't think so?
No. It's more... He pauses for a second, trying to think of the word. Magical scarification.
Well, Jax did tell me, what you've, been through. And, I suppose, yeah, well, it's not completely incorrect either, but, might be more cheerful to think of it as a redesign than full-body thematic scars.
That's certainly true.
They don't bother you, do they?
Of course not. No. No. It bothered Jocks for a while, but... Scars are just proof that you survived. And really, it just means we're a matching set.
It does mean you're a matching set, and, well, I mean, I'm no no expert on, resurrection or any of that kind of stuff, as we've, discovered recently. But I like to think of it as, maybe you get to take a little bit of Jax with you. You got a bit of Jax in you, which is why you got, that particular pattern, because, you could have come with any kind of pattern, really. But you got bones, so makes sense to me. It's sweet in a way.
It is.
I
He,
suppose
kind
you're...
of...
Now you go ahead.
He, kind of thinks about it for a second, and then quietly lets out a little amused breath, and smiles a little bit.
Completely forgot what he was going to say now. Lol.
No.
It's fine. Think. Brain. Come on. Oh, there we
Come
go.
on, brain. Think of things.
It's been some time, I understand, but, does it feel different to how you felt before it all happened?
In truth, well, not that part. I didn't even notice. It was Jacques who first spotted it.
Makes sense. I was just wondering, because, coming back is a slightly different thing. That's an experience we sort of share, although in a slightly different, different process. I don't even know what mine was, but whatever. And, it sort of did, but sort of didn't. So I was wondering if it did for you, but obviously not.
I wasn't any different. I still like gardening, I still like tea. I still love Jacques more than anything in the world. I still miss my hometown. I'm still me, even if I look a little different. Just like you're still you, even if you look a little different too.
That's a very comforting thought. I like that. Have you, ever been back?
At the start of my pilgrimage, I went back a few times. Since coming to Winequell, no. Came into Halloween Town and realized this is where I was meant to be.
Didn't even want to, introduce your husband to the in-laws or anything.
Well, would that I could.
I gathered you had some family back there. If it's not prying or anything, I kind of just realized I basically know nothing about you, and I've known you for like 12 months. You're not exactly a very chatty or gossipy kind of guy, Asclepius. This is, I'm having to draw this information out of you. You don't really offer it so much.
It's all about asking the right questions, my friend.
Suppose so.
I do have family there. I have a very big family, admittedly. Although it's not necessarily family as one would normally think. Frankly, the concept of found family, as Einquell experiences it, and as Toons particularly experience it, is far more familiar to me than the usual family units that one would.
It's a good system.
If
if that system wasn't was not a thing, I would have no family at all, and that's a depressing thought.
But yes, very large family. But they are very far away, and, well, until very recently, Jacques couldn't leave. So.
It's the what was it? Lynn found like a brooch or something.
Yes, it's called an amulet of health. Magical bolstering of one's physical form.
Yeah, kind of necessary. I never considered how differently I was made to be able to, well, have that compared to other people. Sort of didn't cross my mind at all. Just was.
I'm not surprised. It was a fact of life for you.
Oh,
But
yeah.
don't go feeling guilty, and he will bonk you on the head very gently.
Hey, no, I know. Jacques already gave me an earful about it. No, it's not my fault. Blah blah blah. I know, but like, ugh. It's just all all these things to think about in hindsight. Things you'd never considered outside of your own little sphere until that bubble gets popped.
You don't know what you don't know until you're faced with your ignorance. And that's not a failure. That's being sentient. That's being sapient. It's being able to think. It's what you do after you discover that limit that really, really describes you as a person.
I mean, I relieve Jacques of that if I had any inkling how and confidence that it wasn't going to do more damage than good. I think his bond with Kara has probably been, well, quite beneficial in the end rather than a complete disaster. Silver lining in all things,
He has done a very good job with what he's had. Part
He's
of that
always
has been
been good at that.
recognizing his own failings.
It's a hard thing to do sometimes, isn't it?
Takes a great degree of self-awareness. And a great degree of restraint, too. To be able to recognize your failings and not beat yourself over the head with them, so to speak.
Yeah. Dwell on them too much. Well, fortunately, we've all got ample backup to, help prevent dwelling on such things. Got, quite the crowd going, you're ready to bash us over the back of the head, going, "Aye, knock it off."
That is very true. This is a very large web. in no part thanks to a certain detective.
Yep, she certainly has quite the range of people she knows. Like, I mean, I've seen the wall inside a network. It's, I'm just looking at it going, okay, I recognize maybe 8 of the people on here, but most of these people I don't think I will ever meet. It's just probably will never happen. Unless, I force it, but I don't think I really need to put that much effort into that. But, whatever.
You will need a fair share, I think.
Well, I mean, obviously I know her, and I know Network, I know Rye, her kid, and I know her cousin. He has quite the mouth on him. Not that I'm one to talk, but he's not shy about yelling at me. And, Craigory, I've met Craigory now.
Asclepius smiles and shakes his head and goes, "That's not what..." You didn't know Lynn back before several events, so I'm not surprised you haven't noticed, but she used to run the length and breadth of Einkorn, solving crimes, getting involved in shenanigans. It is rare for her now to go very far afield. The life she has lived has taken its toll. I suspect, sooner or later, she will be as bound to this place as Jacques.
I knew some of that. She's told me a little bit, not a heap, not a whole lot, but some, and I know that the cane is new. Well, newish. But, yeah.
They will have to come to her in time. I believe some already do.
Well, if nothing else, I'm glad that she's found somewhere safe and comfortable in Halloween Town. That this seems to be a bit of a refuge for people like her who just need space, who need their peace.
The misfits and the outcasts, the hunted and the feared, all have a place here. If you abide by our rules, we will protect you. Simple as that.
Yeah. I like it. It's, not super different, I suppose, at its core to what Amatus was like. It's just condensed now. Just down to the capital. And I can be content with that. I may make a hobby out of, being an annoyance to the Gisnep King, but, I don't think I'll go beyond that.
From the whispers I've heard, he deserves it.
That was what I gathered as well, yes. And, we had such a wonderful time. A birthday. We made a huge annoyance of ourselves. It was quite a delight.
Oh dear.
But, I think I'll be content with that. It's one thing to fight over territory, but I don't think it needs it. No one needs it. I mean, he might give some of the territory back if I walked in and asked, but at the same time, I'm not sure if he would.
I think at this point it's a little academic.
Yeah, politics is a performance art, and yeah. What am I if not a
I was
performer?
never a good diplomat.
And it was a lie and a half.
That wasn't no. That
Yes.
wasn't diplomacy. That was just honesty.
Oh, look, there is always a degree of that. Knowing the right thing to say at the right time, and the right thing to say at that time happened to be unfiltered honesty. Like, that was exquisite. Absolutely exquisite. Don't downplay how big of an impact that had.
I'm shocked that it had an impact as big as it did. For a moment, I thought it wouldn't do anything at all. I'm just glad we got away without fighting.
Doesn't seem like the kind of fight we would have won. Not if, we were fighting for keeps. I mean, can't really kill the I'm a bard, I know how to say words. You can't really kill death. So,
No, but
it's,
anything could be incapacitated.
I'm just glad we didn't have to. Didn't have to try. As, while I have quite a lot of confidence in the fighting capacity of Lynn and Steve and yourself, and, I probably would have been alright with an axe still. There's being able to kick the asses of, misfits and villains and, your common garden variety antagonists, but a god of something so inevitable doesn't seem like a fight we would likely win. We were probably outclassed.
I disagree.
You
The
reckon?
pantheon he was part of. Pantheon they were part of, sorry. The world that they came from was destroyed. They had not yet built a power base in Einquell. And if you wipe out a power base, the power of the deity soon follows.
Part of me
It would not have been
wishes.
easy.
No, it would not have been easy at all. Part of me wishes that I looked into gods and whatnot more before. I feel like that might have, made this make more sense now that I'm technically part of that pantheon. Well, our pantheon, I suppose. Every god that I've spoken to has imparted different advice, I suppose. As Aeon's had different things to say, Rena's had different things to say, Daisy had different things to say. And it's weird. They don't seem too different to people. Just with a bigger set of problems and responsibilities somehow.
That is markedly true of Einquell, at least. The gods here are as much characters as the people.
Not so much in other places.
I'm really not sure. I haven't actually spoken to really any gods outside of my own and the few that I've met living here. Most times I was speaking to their worshippers, who, as I'm sure you can understand, viewed them with a rather pedestaled perspective.
Yeah, that's familiar. I do remember that. Yeah. Would it be rude of me to ask? Don't think I know who you follow.
I worship the deity of my homeland. And there's a little curl to the grin there that he knows that's a shit answer. He's kind of fucking with you a little bit.
He's kind of gonna put I'm trying, how do I describe this pose? So he's got one hand on the elbow of the opposite arm and just sort of resting his chin on that other hand.
Uh-huh. Well, okay, that's a good start. You're doing this deliberately.
No, me? How could you accuse me of such?
Quite
I'm
easily.
so offended. I'm so desperately offended.
Oh, dear, you really do belong here, don't you? If you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. It's just, it's still I suppose an area of ignorance on my part.
I believe the common word would be Tetranus.
Huh.
That is the title, at least. He has 4 faces, one for each of the seasons, each having their own set of domains. I worship the face of winter, Tetranus Noctis.
Huh. So it's a 4-in-1 package.
Of a sort. It's more... a series of hats. Or a series of masks, perhaps. A better analogy. Each having their own responsibilities.
Huh. That makes sense. I mean, at most, the whole Azatori would have, 2 seasons at any given time, so that seems like a much more manageable effort of multitasking than all the bullshit Aeon has to do all of the time.
Time is a very large domain space as well. Being the deity of both is a busy task. Though I cannot say I am especially charmed with their methods.
Yeah. But, being at all times, stands to reason they'd, not exactly be able to... What's a good way to put it? Spend time doing their own thing. They're all work and no play makes Aeon a scatterbrained individual.
I suppose I am biased. Most of what I know of their power is the results that it's had on my people. Gibbs, now Paz, and the effect on the land itself. Kara is still cleaning up all that gold.
Yeah. I'd help, but I don't particularly want to go out there.
We would not ask you to.
And he sort of just looks away, and he looks really awkward, and he seems to be fiddling with his left hand, with his new hand, a bit.
Cover your thoughts.
I kind of would love to just forget about the whole thing. It's, not something that's on the cards, though, I think. It's gonna be burned into my brain for the rest of my life, which, being immortal or whatever now, I suppose that's gonna be a long-ass time.
Not necessarily.
No, yeah, I suppose not. I might get hit over the head real hard and then forget. That'd be pleasant.
Not what I meant. The phrase, time heals all wounds, does have merit. Even one so long lived as yourself cannot possibly remember everything. The pain will fade with time. You just have to live a lot of it. And for that you have my sympathy.
Well, yeah, I suppose so, but, I don't know. Don't know how long that will take. Suppose I just gotta be patient.
You can also make better memories. Displace the pain with happiness.
I do like the sound of that. I do in fact like the sound of that. I want to do more around town and whatnot. I really enjoyed what we did on Halloween this year, and I think that it was top-notch. I definitely have plans that I have been pondering to do something bigger and better next year because, I started, small, given it was my first Halloween back, blah, blah, blah. But, good memories, good memories. I'm down for good memories. This is definitely something I could crowd out all of the bullshit with fun. I like the sound of that.
Jacques was buzzing. It was very funny.
I like seeing Jacques full of enthusiasm. I'm glad that hasn't changed too much.
He leans on his staff a little bit and looks up at you, which is always fun because it's rare that someone is taller than him.
Yeah.
Usually it's only Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, leans on his staff a little bit, looks up at you. This just kind of thoughtful look.
Yeah. So, what are you like when you're enthusiastic? Because you're usually, like the calm, level-headed sort. Like, even when shit was going down, you were just like, yep, I can be calm. Which is sort of like a superpower in of itself, because I was freaking the fuck out, quite honestly.
It comes with practice, let me tell you that. But it's also the benefit of experience. I spent 12 years going from my homeland to here. I've seen a lot of shit.
Well, that does help.
But to be old and wise, one must first be young and foolish. Unless I'm mistaken, you are younger than I am.
In a roundabout way, I suppose. I mean, yeah, depends on if you count the 180 odd years I was.
No.
No, if you don't count that, I'm 23, I suppose, if you don't count that.
So young.
Hey, shut up!
Oh, you are just a child. Oh, that's delightful. You'll get there. All 20-odds don't know how to regulate their own emotions. It's fine. You will get there.
I mean, I've been this sort of mental capacity for that whole time, if that makes any difference, but I suppose it doesn't.
It does, only in that you've never been young enough to throw a tantrum and get away with it. Which is an important part of growth.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, had too much responsibilities from very early on to that kind of thing, so, now I'm here with basically no responsibilities at all, and it's... Oh, okay. I suppose that's why I like looking after, Philippe's kids. They're... I have to force myself. I've got responsibilities now. Look at these adorable children I have to look after. It's quite good, actually. They are so funny.
They're very...
And, They got a lot of potential, those kids.
Children often do.
Sally, in particular. She, wild magic really is not a, not a thing to mess around with. Good grief.
Oh dear.
Oh gosh, I probably haven't even told Jacques this yet. I forgot all about it for a sec. Yeah, so Philippe's kids are like 2 years old, right? But, Sally, well, okay, let me put it this way. The first time I realized her magical potential was on Halloween, in a play fight with some of the actors I'd hooked into it, and she cast Fireball.
Oh no.
It's a 2-year-old with fireball. But we've managed to put a lid on that. Sort of managed to outsource some of her magical control to me. So, yeah, I've got a 2-year-old warlock. But it worked. She's not spitting out wild magic anymore. So that's good.
That is very good. Should she ever need a space to practice, I'm sure Kara would be happy to provide. And a nearby table does a little jump in agreement.
Oh, well, if you think she needs a bigger space, we've just been sort of using the clubhouse and sort of around the pumpkin patch, but I'm hoping that we stay small spells to start with. We're starting with cantrips, figuring out how cantrips work, rather than just throwing off fireball.
That is wise. Build up the foundations before you start going crazy.
Yeah. So, we might have to organize something, Kara, later when she gets a handle on cantrips and starts doing things a little bigger, but, hopefully we won't have any more fireballs for a while.
Ask Lynn and Craigory to tell you the story of the fireball in Big Bird's Mini Mall.
Oh, that does sound like an interesting story. Alright. We can definitely 100% put that on the to-do list. I love a good tale of something like that. Gosh. And yeah, I quite like Craigory. He's a fun guy.
He is very good.
Well, a bit concerning about this whole thing that he's got going on, but it sounds like he's got it under control.
It was worse. But he has had help with it, for which I'm very glad. Chucks was not happy when he heard about this.
Well, I mean, anyone just able to pump out formivores doesn't sound like something you'd really... Yeah. That's quite a talent.
It is. Rather a contrary talent, humans being as full of magic as they are. Biology. I know enough for medicine. I do not know enough to speculate on this kind of matter.
Yeah, we are kind of a little hard to quantify at times. I suppose that's just the nature of us. I mean, you can have tunes like me and Jax, and then you got tunes like Lynn, and, you know, those UPAN fellas, they're just really thin. It's all so interesting and varied and different, and then we're just like, okay, great, we're all different, but what the fuck is going on? Keeps things interesting.
That is true. There are some common threads. Common templates, I suppose, would be a better turn of phrase.
Yeah, like design consistencies. Yeah. Oh well, keeps us on our toes.
That's certainly true. Angwell's very good at that.
What was your homeland like? What was it good at?
My people are nomadic. We don't stay in one specific place. In the warmer months, we moved into the tundras in the south. In the colder months, we moved a little bit north to the forests. There was a lot of emphasis on companionship with each other and with the land. Learning how to caretake, curate the world around you.
Oh.
Not nearly as chaotic as Einquell. Although I doubt any place comes close, truly. Though, Faruma gives Einquell a run for its money at times, in often darker, less joyous ways.
Hmm. Well, it's just got the fringes of inspiration's reach, I suppose. Just like little drips from the edges of the quill, so you know.
Asclepius' expression darkens. Do you want to roll an insight on that?
Yeah, alright. Sure. Yay, that's my lad. Cool. Even though I have literally played Korvits every day of this year, I always look at his insight modifier and go, oh yeah!
Yeah, okay. So you say it gets the drips of influence from Einquell. And Asclepius' face darkens in such a way that you immediately know he's thinking of something very specific. There is a very specific incident that immediately sprung to his mind. It's not good.
Ooh. Okay. He's sort of gonna lean back just a smidge.
Oh, that was not the correct thing to say. I kind of let that analogy run with me for a bit, but I ran in the wrong direction. Sorry.
No, it's fine. You are not incorrect. Influence can leak over. It is, from what I've seen, rarely good. Although, actually, no, that's not correct. Because if it weren't for that influence, we wouldn't have Decimal, or other tunes that come from Faruma.
Well, I was kind of under the impression that, technically speaking, tunes could pop up anywhere on Satori, so...
They can, but they are most common in Einquell due to the Well's influence. After that, their rate of spawning, so to speak, falls off sharply.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Faruma has the next highest population, due to proximity. In truth, I have been to almost every continent on this planet. I did not encounter a single tune until I came to Faruma, and even then they were rare.
That is a huge surprise. And, well... does contribute to some of the receptions that, the Pez and I got. Oh, no, little jaunt. More so me than Pez, because we only stopped at one place before I brought us home. Yeah. I mean, two people who have not been exposed to Halloween sort of flavored things so much. I would imagine that I cut quite an imposing figure, but I suppose if tunes are that rare, which I suppose they would be, yeah, okay, that's doubly terrifying because, you know, I am not only spooky in vibe, but yeah, kind of have a what's the phrase I'm looking for? Inorganic appearance. I suppose.
Well, that's not as rare as you'd think. Constructs and similar such beings, living ones, I should say, are not as infrequent as one would think. Some are born of long-fought wars, and simply survived afterward. Others simply came about as any other.
Hmm. Must have just been the ambient spookiness then.
That, or the fact that you are very tall.
I am. I don't really have too good of a frame of reference here because most people are shorter than me just by default.
Allow me to phrase it like this. Fearbold are notably tall for a real kind race. And you tower over me.
Right. Right.
It is not a bad thing, but it does make you interesting.
Well, tunes such as myself and like Jax and Steve, Steve is also very, very tall. We're outliers as well, so like most tunes are like Lynn's height-ish, around about that. That's more fun-sized is more common, at least the way that I understand it. Certainly was back in the day.
As best I can tell, they tend to run the gamut. An average of 4 or 5 feet. Like humans, shall we say. But I have seen very small tunes, and I've seen very tall tunes, and I've seen tunes that fit the scale in between. But Steve is an outlier in a different way. He is not a... Nor is he naturally born.
I did get that impression.
He did mention it.
Often. It's like a point of pride almost to the guy. I liked Steve. Steve was fun.
Steve is fun. He's a very good man.
I quite like the people that you and Jax have pulled together to keep this place running. Every single one of them that I've met so far has been a delight and a half. You should be proud of yourselves for what you've done.
We've done the best we can, covering for each other's weaknesses, supporting each other where needed. I think we've done a good job.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. It's good. It's good to see. I'm happy. As long as everyone else is, we got something that works.
There is a very pleased smile.
Look at these two dorks just smiling happily at each other.
I probably should let you get back to your whatever you were doing.
Oh, I was caretaking the carnivorous plants. They tend to get testy if they're not fed often.
I mean, sounds like anything that needs to eat. If they don't eat, they get grumpy.
That's certainly true. Though, I will leave you with a final piece of advice.
Oh, yeah?
If you need somewhere quiet and fairly contained to take Paz out on a date, I recommend going to Steve's bar.
Oh. Okay. I like the sound of that. I will put this to it, see what it thinks. Alright, I'm sure Kara can point me the way. Alright, I'll keep that in my back pocket.
It's the Shady Soul stop, you can't miss it.
Oh, I love
you can, and people frequently do, but with Kara leading you, you can't miss it.
Oh, yeah. Just conveniently put it next to the Ghost Toast Cafe. I'll find it, no problem.
They might, now that you mentioned it.
Alright, fantastic. Alright, well, I'll let you get back to feeding these guys so that, we don't have any, horrible plant massacres in your garden, and, yeah, I'll go talk to Pat, see if they want to go to the bar. That sounds fun. Oh, you know what? We could go on a double date.
Oh, goodness. I'd have to ask Jacques.
I don't think he'd say no. I think that sounds fun. We'll pencil something at a later date.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Awesome. Alright, I'm going to go and put this idea to pass straight away. I'll leave you to it, eh?
Tell Pez I say hi.
I will. It does want to have conversations with you and Jacques, so it'll probably want to find time for that at some point. But, it's better from them than from me.
There is a brief look of concern, but he nods.
Nothing bad. Like, don't be worried about it, but, like, I'm the go with the flow kind of guy. It's the one who wants to have the conversation.
Alright, well, when it is ready, Kara will know what to fix.
I'll let it know that as well. But ultimately, I would also like to have a double date. I think that could be fun. I'll catch you around.
You have a good day now.
See ya.
And he's just gonna give a little two-fingered salute and then head out of the garden.
Asclepius raises a hand in farewell. And then sighs, kind of like, that kind of, after you've just finished doing something, you're kind of content to stand for a second, and then he gets back to it.
I love Asclepius.
I never quite know what he's going to say when he says something, so it's always very fun playing him.
Just sort of takes the wheel and runs, huh?
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Oh, well, thank you, RJ. This was so much fun.
This was very good. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, dear. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Hell yeah. Let's, I'm gonna stop the recording there, and let's hop into a gen chat. So
Yay.
people can yell at us.